Hey everyone, and welcome to day 14 of learning Illustrator. So let's see what all we learned in day 13. In day 13, we learned about compound path, and then we learned about Pathfinder panel, brush tool, and finally we finished our chapter with eraser tool. Now let's see what all we are going to cover in day 14, that is today. So today, first of all, we'll cover shape builder tool. Now this is what we should have covered in previous day, but since we were already running out of time, and I think day 13 video is already long, I think 1 hour 30 minutes. So I didn't want to put too much of content in a single video, so I decided to cover it today. And after shape builder tool, we are going to cover pen tool, and this is one of the most toughest tool. I think people says that this is one of the most toughest tool because they struggle with this tool a lot, but we'll try to cover it in such a way that it doesn't you understand everything very crystal clear, and you don't find it very struggling to work with. So after that, we'll see three more tools, that is add anchor point tool, delete anchor point tool, and convert anchor point tool. And there's one more thing which I want to cover in the beginning itself, that pen tool can be converted to all these three tools, and we will see how it works in our video today. So I hope you are excited about it. So let's go and get started. And to start our today's video, we should start with shape builder tool. So let's create a new file new, and again resolution can be 1920 by 1080. So I'm gonna click OK over here, and here I have my empty file or a blank canvas. So to understand shape builder tool, we need few shapes over here. So before that, let's create a background color so that we know that the shape we are working on, or if you perform any operation on the shape, it becomes transparent. So yeah, I mean, if shape becomes transparent, then we know that there is a background behind that, and we can see that okay, the shape is having no fill inside it, or there is no shape or no color over there actually. So instead of filling a pink color, I think I'm gonna go ahead with some kind of pattern fill. That could be any dot fill, I think, pattern graphic dots. And here I have my library. I think that looks okay. This one. There's slight of a problem. I mean, we have to scale it a bit. So right click, go to transform, and then go to scale over here. We can uncheck transform objects, and we can check transform pattern, turn on the preview, and let's say if we make it 150%. So this looks still small, so 200%, and we need to increase the size a little bit more, I think. Or do we need to move the pattern instead? I think we have to move the pattern. So let's see, we make it 150%, click OK, and this time we'll move the pattern. So what we'll do is right click, transform, move, and inside move I would say transform patterns instead of transform object. And let's say we only want to move pattern vertical wise, we don't need a horizontal movement, because horizontally it fits perfectly fine from left to right. Vertically we don't need this line, so let's move it bit vertical down, that is I think 40 pixels. 40 pixels is very less, so let's go ahead with 200 is okay. Let's make it 300 pixels and a little less, I think 280, and this looks okay. So I'm gonna freeze it now, press Ctrl 2 on my keyboard, and okay, before that actually I should drop the transparency a bit. It's very dark, and let's say it should be around 50%. Okay, now I'm gonna press Ctrl 2 on my keyboard to lock the object, and there I have some kind of background, so that if my shape, if I remove any of the shape, or if some kind of operation happen on two shapes, so we can see that which area is removed from the shape and which area is still there. Okay, so now let us take two rounded rectangles here and here, and you are seeing such kind of pattern because we still have pattern fill inside objects. So let's go ahead and color them individually. Let's fill a red color inside this, and on the top one we can have orange color. Okay, so that looks good. Now for the shape builder tool, or I should move it to the center somewhere here. Okay, now to select shape builder tool, you can click on this kind of icon on your toolbar, where you have two circles side by side, and there is a cursor on the top of rightmost circle. So that is the icon for shape builder tool, or the shortcut key for this tool is Shift M. So you can press Shift M on your keyboard to select shape builder tool also. But now when I select my shape builder tool, you can see that I have this disable icon beside my cursor, and that means I cannot use my shape builder tool right now. So why is this happening, and what can we do to remove this? So let's see it now. Or I think this pattern fill is creating a problem here because you are not able to see my cursor properly. Okay, so I think I'm gonna just remove pattern fill. Okay, so now we have our background removed and it won't distract us much. I removed it because we already have color fill inside our rounded rectangles, and I felt like background is distracting more than it is helping in our example. So yeah. Okay, now we learned that when we selected our shape builder tool, it was not working, and there was a disable icon beside it. That was happening because I didn't have my shape selected. So if you want your shape builder tool to work, you have to make sure that you have any of your shapes selected before. So either one shape or two shape or multiple shapes, or I mean, if you're working on more than 5-6 shapes, then have all of those shapes selected and then select shape builder tool. So we are going to select these two shapes over here, press Shift M this time, and we can see we have this cursor over here, and there is a plus icon beside my cursor this time. So that means I can work with my shape builder tool this time. Okay, so if there is a plus icon, there is a possibility that there could be a minus sign also beside my cursor. So plus signifies the addition of two shapes, and minus will signify the subtraction of two shapes. So we have seen the plus icon, how it appears. For the minus sign, if you want it to appear, then you can press Alt on your keyboard, and you can see this minus sign appears beside my cursor. And Alt, you can say Alt is a kind of functionality key for this tool that will enable the subtraction mode for this tool. So how will this work also, we'll see it after some time. But before that, we should go ahead and see how addition or union or a merge operation works with shape builder tool. Yeah, so feel free to call it anything. I would like to say addition because that makes more sense to me rather than calling merge or unite or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and call it addition. Okay, so here we have our two shapes, and now let's see if we click. You can see over here that if I drag my cursor after shape building tool, if I drag my cursor anywhere on the shape, it is able to detect the intersection part or the individual part of these shapes. So let's go ahead and click on any of this rectangle, and immediately you can see I have a red border around that shape. So that red border signifies my final shape that I will achieve after the operation. Okay, so now you can see that my red border has increased and it has covered that middle intersection part also. And now let's go ahead and stretch this to this red rectangle, and now you can see the border has covered the entire part of my two shapes. And now when I release my mouse, so you have this shape as a one single or you have this two shapes as one single shape now, and both has been combined into one shape. Okay, actually this pattern fill is creating I don't want this pattern fill, and by default this pattern fill is appearing again and again. So I think now it will not. Okay, yeah. So for default one, I think I should select blue. Okay. Yeah. Now, one more thing, if you want to change your default color, let's say if you are creating some new shape and you want that new shape to have something else, or a color which you want to predefine, so you can just have an empty selection. Don't select anything on your canvas, or you can just have a selection tool selected, and from swatch library you can just pick any of this color, and you can see that color will be reflected over here in your color picker. And after that you can go ahead and draw any rectangle, and it will be reflected to that particular shape. Okay, so here I have selected this ocean blue color, and let's get back to our shape builder tool. So we have learned that if we want to combine any shape, we can just click. We can see, first of all, we can select those shapes which we want to combine. Then we can click and drag our mouse cursor over those shapes, and shape builder tool will automatically tell us the final shape we are going to get. And when you are satisfied that this is what you want, so you can release your mouse cursor. So fair enough. Now, using shape builder tool itself, actually you can perform a variety of operations from Pathfinder itself. Let's say if this is our Pathfinder, so you can almost perform all these operations using shape builder tool itself. So we have seen the first operation, which is the unite operation. So let's take a duplicate of these two shapes, and now we will perform a unite operation on this. So here you have achieved something like this after performing a unite operation, and I'm gonna go ahead and select my shape builder tool by pressing Shift M, and this time I'm gonna drag from red rectangle to this orange rectangle, and once I release my mouse, so you can see I have achieved the same result. So here I have performed a unite operation using shape builder tool. Now let's see, minus fronts should be just okay. Let's see minus front. So in minus front, if I select these two shape and apply minus front, so you can see that front shape will be removed, and it will also subtract the area which was overlapping with the front shape from the rear shape. So here I am going to go ahead and select these two shapes. First of all, let's have this operation, and Shift M again to select my shape builder tool. This time I'm gonna press Alt on my keyboard so that I have this minus sign beside my cursor, and once it appears, I can click and drag over the shapes like I was dragging before. Also note that I am pressing Alt key along with it. If I release my Alt key, it will again be a addition operation. So yeah, just remember to keep pressing Alt key till you want your or till you achieve your final results. Okay, so I have pressed Alt key, I am dragging my mouse cursor over these two shapes, and when I release it, here I have performed the minus front operation with my shape builder tool. Okay, so let's see, can we achieve all these operations by just using shape builder tool. So moving to the next operation, which is intersect. Now in intersect, we know that it will preserve the common part between these two shapes, or the overlapping area of the two shapes. So here we'll go ahead, we'll actually try to achieve something like that. So again, press Shift M on your keyboard to select the tool, and again press Alt key on your keyboard. Now this time, instead of going through the middle of these shapes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Alt, and I'm gonna drag for these two rounded rectangles only. I will leave this middle part so that this will be intact as it is, and these two shapes will be removed. So yeah, just select this one and this one, and when you release it, you have just performed the intersection operation. I hope that is clear to you. I'll explain one again. You can press Alt on your keyboard, and once you go to any of these rounded rectangle, you can click on it, and now drag your mouse. Keep pressing Alt during this operation, and you can drag it to another rounded rectangle over here, and once you release your mouse click, you will have your middle shape intact, because I have not, my shape builder tool line has not gone through this middle shape, otherwise this whole shape would have been removed. Okay, so here we have performed intersect operation. Now unfortunately we cannot perform exclude over here, or I think we can. Let's see how exclude works. So yeah, exclude is just opposite of intersect, so it removes the part which is common between two shapes. Now let's press Shift M this time, and I'm gonna press Alt first and then click on the center part, and just release it after that. Okay, so yeah, we have performed exclude operation as well. Just click on the center part while pressing Alt and release your mouse click so that you can perform an exclude operation using Shape Builder tool. Now there's one more good thing that we have just seen, that while using exclude operation from Pathfinder, I have this color change in all my objects. It actually recolor all your objects which are selected for the operation. But here you can see that I have this color as it is, like it was before. So yeah, I mean, you may find it helpful at times where you have like too many shapes and you don't want to color them again and again. So there, if you go ahead and use Pathfinder, then it will recolor all your shapes. Instead of that, you can just use your Shape Builder tool there, and you don't have to go through all the shapes by recoloring them. Okay, so let's undo them again, and here we have few more operations. Now we are not gonna check all of them because by this time you would have been imagined that okay, we can perform all this by ourselves. But I'm gonna show you few of this which are actually a kind of eye opener, which help you realizing that how powerful Shape Builder tool can be. So one of these operation is divide actually. So just select this two shape and perform divide operation on it. Now this is one single shape, so I'll just Control Shift G, that is ungroup this shape, and now I can click and move this so that I have achieved something like this after performing a divide operation. Like I have all my shapes, but it has been divided from the intersection part. So if you want to achieve something like this using Shape Builder tool, you can press M. Press Shift M on your keyboard, and this time actually we'll go through these two rectangles, but we will not press Alt key, and we will leave the middle part as it is. So our line of Shape Builder tool will not go through the middle part, and it will only cover these two rounded rectangle shapes. Okay, so that looks fine. Let's go ahead and see what have we achieved. And here I have these two rectangles with same color. So let's see what has it done. And yeah, we have achieved a kind of divide operation with an additional shape over here. So we can either remove this one or this one. That's fine. But yeah, we have almost done a divide operation. But there's one thing that has happened. Like we have this same color across two shapes. And now I don't know whether it's a good thing or bad. I think I leave this to you. You should decide that whether you want to do something like this using Shape Builder tool, or would you prefer Pathfinder over it. So yeah, again it's your call, because now you know everything, so you will be able to make your decisions better. So let's undo it again, and we will see one more operation. Not one, actually two or three more. So this one is trim. So in trim, let's see how it works. So I'm gonna duplicate the shapes, and when I press trim, so here in trim, what it does actually, it keeps all the shape which are visible to our eye, and it deletes the part which is beneath or behind any other shape. So let's see how we can achieve this using Shape Builder tool. Again, select your Shape Builder tool, and with having plus sign or add operation only, we'll just press and click on this middle part and drag it to the outer rectangle part over here, and here we have achieved our trim operation. So what it does actually, it combines this overlapping shape and this front rectangle, rounded rectangle, and it removed the part from it removed the overlapping area from the red rectangle. So yeah, here also while using from Pathfinder, we have our outlines removed. So here there is an advantage if you have some kind of specific outlines, let's say dotted lines, or you have maintained your own width profile. So that will be saved over here, but it could not be saved in trim option if you do it from Pathfinder. Okay, and I think what else should we cover? Should we cover merge? Sorry for that. Yeah, one more thing, that performing a merge operation from Shape Builder tool would be really difficult, because we have seen that how merge operation works. It actually combines those shapes which has same color, and it subtracts those shapes which has different color. So if you want to do something like that from a shape builder tool, it could go a little lengthy for multiple shapes or more than 4 or 5 shapes. So I would suggest to avoid doing a merge operation using shape builder tool, rather do it from Pathfinder only. And then we have this crop. So I think crop removes this part, and so yeah, I think all of these now are familiar. I mean, you're familiar with all these operations, and you will be able to achieve all this using shape builder tool. I want to cover this last one, that is minus back. So this is exactly opposite to the minus front, where it removes the back shape and it removes the front part which was overlapping with that shape. So here if I perform minus back, so you can see it has removed that red rectangle, also the overlapping area of orange rectangle. Okay, so here let's try do that. So again select shape builder tool, and this time press Alt on your keyboard and click on a red rectangle and drag it to the intersection part, so that we have this both part covered. And when you release it, you can see that we have just performed a minus back operation, and yeah, that looks really good. That looks exactly the same. So that's how you can perform variety of operations or almost all Pathfinder operations using shape builder tool itself. But now where is the difference? Why should we have two similar functionalities in a one single tool? And what is the actually point? That is the question. So the point here is, let's say if you have very simple operations to perform, and you don't want to use Pathfinder, or you don't want to use shape builder tool over there, because shape builder tool is generally considered for complex shapes. But if you have very simple operations to perform, you can just go ahead and do it from Pathfinder. And when you have very complex operations to perform, then you can use your shape builder tool. And why do I suggest shape builder tool for complex operations? Because you can directly see the preview, like what I'm going to achieve as my final result. Like if I select these two shapes and click and drag over here, so this red outline shows me that what will be my final shape. But if I do it over here using Pathfinder options, then there is no guarantee or there is no preview of what will be my final shape. Once I achieve that shape, then I can decide, okay, this is what I wanted, or should I reject it and try again with some other operation. Also, one more thing, if you have some kind of operation like this, it is just a simple example that I have created for you. You can find 1,000 of examples like this by yourself also. So let's say if you have should it be like okay, this will do fine. Okay, and yeah, and a little two more circles. Okay, I just copied and pasted the same. Okay, now if you want these all shapes to subtract the overlapping area from this center circle, so let's say you have a shape like this, and what you want here is this center part should be preserved and rest all should be removed, and you want to have this kind of outline for the center circle, then it's a simple or it's very clear task that you have to perform minus front operation here, so that these all shapes will also be removed and you will have your center shape with this kind of outline. But if you go ahead and try to use shape builder tool over here, then you have to select each of this circle and keep pressing Alt, and then you have to do all this, and that's kind of very lengthy work over here. Although this operation is not very complex, but some people may consider it complex also. So you can see that these many operations or these many clicks I have to do to make a shape like this. But if I go to Pathfinder over here and I just click on minus front, so I have achieved something like this. So yeah, again the operation might be complex, but you have to think through and you have to think by yourself that what will be the better, or which tool will be better over here. Again, this you will learn by practice. So I would suggest to go ahead and keep practicing all these functionalities and features, and over the time you will come to know that okay, where should I use which functionality. I hope this example helped you in realizing that where should you use Pathfinder and Shape Builder tool. So delete this example for now, and now we'll see one more example that can be achieved by using a Shape Builder tool better other than using Pathfinder. Okay, so I'm pressing Ctrl 0 for fit to screen, and here I'm gonna go with two concentric circles. Ctrl C is Ctrl Shift V and scale it down a bit, so I have this kind of circle. Okay, and when I press Ctrl Y, it should look like a ring. So that is my core idea here. So what we'll do here is, now by the way, Ctrl Y is for outline mode, so we can see through all these colors. This is the preview mode, this is the outline mode. I think we have covered it already, but just felt like should cover it again. Okay, so here what I'm doing is, while moving, I'm pressing Alt key so that I can duplicate these shapes over here. And again, while having these two rings selected, I can press Alt key and move it to paste it somewhere over here, I think. That. Okay, now it looks like three rings are intersecting with each other, but I want these three rings to be overlapping each other. So this bottom ring, let's say this bottom ring should be on the top of this front ring, and this bottom ring should be on the top of this left ring, and this right ring should be on the top of bottom ring, and so on with other kind of intersections also. So let's see how can we achieve that. So first of all, we'll select all these three shapes. We'll press Ctrl M on our Shift M on our keyboard to select Shape Builder tool, and we will come to this left part first. So here what I want to do is this left ring should go above or go over this bottom ring. So we'll just merge these three shapes to give it an illusion that okay, this part is on the top of this bottom ring part. Okay, so now that this left ring is on the top of this bottom ring, now it cannot be on top of another ring. So here this right ring should be on the top of left one. So again, to do that, we can press Shift M to select our Shape Builder tool, and let's merge these three shapes. So this right ring looks on the top of left one. Okay, now again coming over here, this right ring is on the top of left one, so this bottom ring will take charge and it will be on the top of right ring. So we will merge these three shapes so that it looks something like this. Okay, and the same thing can be applied here. This ring will be on the top of this one, the right ring will be on the top of left one, and now we have three equal shapes on the outer rings. Now let's go ahead and merge these shapes inside. So here this one goes right one and it is on the top of left. Now it cannot be on top of bottom one, so this bottom ring will be on the top of right one, and now this bottom ring is passing over here, and again left ring will be on the top of this bottom ring, and there it goes. Okay, so yeah, we have performed all these operations, and this looks kind of convincing to me because this is, I think, what I wanted to achieve. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show you, that we need to create some kind of shapes or some kind of we need to perform this kind of operations as these rings should look like they are on the top of each other and they are passing above or below through each other. Okay, so let's press Ctrl Y again, and now you can see that we have achieved that kind of result, but we have a shape over here that has a similar fill. So how can we avoid that? To avoid that, actually we have to just click and drag all the shapes over here and delete them later. Okay, so like you can see, we have performed multiple operations on these rings. So that's why every time we perform a kind of operation, it keeps creating these additional shapes, like we have seen when we were performing divide operation. So that's no problem. That's, you can say, it's an additional or it's a side effect of that tool. So if you are achieving such kind of great result, it is no problem deleting few shapes from the center. Okay, so here we have achieved something like this, and this background is transparent now. So let's go ahead and color these rings in a different color so that we know the difference between them. And this one can be a little light than this. Okay, so we have three same colored ring but in a different shades. Okay. So yeah, this is I think the best example to make you understand the power of a shape builder tool. And even I would suggest you to go ahead and practice this example by yourself. Just create two concentric circles and duplicate them in any way you want, and then try to make them look like they are passing through each other using shape builder tool. That way it will help you a lot learning that tool. And also, if you want to do this using Pathfinder, then I think it will be a lot of it will be a lengthy procedure actually. I haven't tried using Pathfinder on such an example, but if you feel like you want to try Pathfinder also, please feel free and go ahead and try to make something like this using Pathfinder options also. Okay, so I think we have learned enough about shape builder tool, and this example actually conveys everything about shape builder tool as well. So it's time to learn about next tool, that is pen tool. Okay, but before that, let me explain you one more thing. Over here, actually, when we moved all the shapes and we deleted them, instead of that, we can actually use shape builder tool here, and we can press Alt and then just click on these shapes. So what will it do? When I'm pressing Alt, it will perform a minus front operation or a subtraction operation. So since I have not overlapped shapes over here, so or I have not jumped from one shape to another, it will just delete the shape from there, and that way it will be more convenient to us to remove all these shapes. Okay, I think, yeah, there are no shape lefts and there are no duplicates either. So yeah, we have really created a good design using shape builder. So again, recoloring it a bit. A very light difference in shades. Okay, this too looks almost similar. So I think this much will be fine. Okay, so I hope you like this example and understand it too. And now we are gonna go or move on to next tool, which is pen tool. Now this tool is actually lot of people fear using this tool, and I don't understand the concept why it is being so feared. Because when I started learning this tool and started using this tool, I got very familiar easily, and it was very convenient for me to use pen tool. Although there are few difficulties using pen tool initially, if you learn it, it is the only tool in Illustrator which has so many functionalities in one single tool. So sometimes it becomes kind of difficult to remember all these functionalities together, and sometimes you want to do something else and pen tool is doing something else. So this kind of thing happens initially, but when you have command over this tool, it will be very convenient for you to use. Okay, so I think I should stop talking and just give you a demo about how this tool works. So if you want to select a pen tool, you can either press P on your keyboard to select the tool, or you can just click on this pen icon to open or to select your pen tool. Now again, since we have this bottom arrow, you can say bottom right hand, at the bottom right hand we have this arrow to the pen tool. So that signifies if I click or click and hold on this tool, it will open an additional window for me that has a related tool in it. So I can just tear it off and I can put it somewhere over here. So yeah, that looks fine, so that we have all this tool over here, because we are gonna cover all these three tools also in today's video. Okay, so we have our pen tool selected. We can now go ahead and draw something using pen tool. To use this tool is really simple. All you have to do is click and move your mouse cursor. So again, I'm saying click and move, don't click and drag right now. So click, and I have released my mouse click now, and I'm moving my mouse freely, and I'm going over here I think, and I click again. Okay, so that's how I created a line using pen tool, and it looks very simple, very convenient. I mean, there is no complexity in this. Okay, so we'll repeat the same thing. We have moved to some this over here, and let's click again, and you can see that it's filling my shape automatically because I have this kind of this color fill over here. So yeah, again you can just click and move your mouse cursor, click and move your mouse cursor, and you can create a shape like this using pen tool. Okay, now one thing to note that we have this open shape because we don't have this final line closed. So there are few ways to close this line, and one way is we can go to the starting point, and when you go to the starting point you can see that this circle appears beside my pen. That means I can close my shape over here. So if I click over here and press V on my keyboard to select the selection tool, now I have a closed shape. Now this circle we have seen actually in, I think, brush tool and pencil tool also. Yeah, in pencil tool and brush tool, paintbrush tool, where we draw something, and while reaching at the starting point, if we press Alt, it shows us a circle. So when I release it, it closes my shape automatically. Yeah, so circle signifies the closing shape in Illustrator. So you can say that this is the first functionality of the pen tool. And now let's see the next functionality. If you get too confused, you might note it down somewhere that these all functionalities pen tool have, and I think only 1 or 2 times you will be able to look at them when you are practicing. After 1 or 2 times, it will be so natural to you that you don't even need that note or that notebook where you have written this. But initially I would suggest just go ahead and write all these functionalities so that you know that okay, this is what is happening if I do something like this. So let's move on to next functionality of pen tool and delete this shape. Now the next functionality includes if you are drawing something, let's say I'll just delete the shape and I'll zoom in a bit. And now if you are drawing something over here and you have now you reach to the bottom of your screen and further you want to draw below it. To draw below it actually, or to move your canvas, you can press space on your keyboard. This will give you a hand tool on a temporary basis, and then you can click and drag, and once you have reached to a sufficiently high position, you can again click and continue your design. So yeah, while using pen tool, you can just press space and move your canvas and keep drawing like this. So this functionality is not actually specific to pen tool. It is common with all the tools. It applies with selection tool. It applies with direct selection, whether you are having pen, text, or you are having circle over here. So yeah, it applies with everyone, every shape, every tool. But I just felt like I should tell you because some people actually get confused if their shape gets out of this visible area, then they get lost actually what should we do next. So yeah, in that case you can just press space and move your canvas and start drawing again. Okay, now let's see the third functionality, which is open shapes. So we have seen that by default our shape remains open in pen tool until we just go ahead and click on this starting point. But what if I accidentally leave my shape over here? Let's say I just pressed V on my keyboard and I have my selection tool now. So this is my shape now and I have this open shape. So there's one thing which we have learnt already. We can select these 2 end vertices and we can click on join over here to join this shape. But what if my shape is just incomplete? I want to draw it further. So for that you can select your pen tool again and you can continue from any of these anchor points, either the starting one or the point from where you left. Just click on that anchor point once and you can continue your design from there again. Like you have seen, I have just clicked on that anchor point once and then Illustrator knows that okay, we want to continue this shape itself, and after that you can continue shape. Again, if you press anything or if you go to another tool, it will discontinue your shape. So again, go to your pen tool, go to your shape anchor point from where you left and click and start creating your shape like this, and then you can finally close it. Okay, so this is a kind of third functionality where we can close open shapes, or we can continue existing shapes of by using pen tool. Now you can, after this, you can actually go ahead and create a variety of shape using pen tool. If you want to create really complex shape, you can just put your vertices so near to each other that you will get a result like this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this whole shape. Okay. So here you can see, if I put my vertices really closer, I can actually get a very smooth curve. And after this, there's nothing left to, there's no shape which you cannot draw on this earth. Every shape that is possible you can draw using pen tool. Now the precision of that shape and the flow or the exact curves of the shape might not come exactly, but you will be able to draw pretty much every single shape on this planet Earth using pen tool itself. Okay, now let's see, before moving to next functionalities of pen tool, we should see these three tools. So I'm gonna create a circle for that, and let's see our first tool, that is add anchor point. So okay, and before that I think I should tell you this again. These 4 points over here are called anchor points. These 4 blue points, this one, this one, this one, and this one around the circle are called anchor points. And if I select any of these anchor points, you can see these control handles beside it. So yeah, actually they are called control handles, but for this video I would call them tangents, because moving forward in this video, I would be calling this control handles a lot of time, and I don't want to confuse you guys using by saying control handles, anchor points, control handles, anchor points. So I would directly call them tangents. That would be easily to understand also. So we have to deal with two things, that is anchor points and tangents. Okay. So I think that I hope that's clear to you. Now let's move on and learn our first tool, which is add anchor point tool. So the shortcut key for this is plus on your keyboard. If you press plus, then it will you can select this tool also. Okay, so the name itself says it very clear that add anchor point. That means if I select any shape, or even if I don't select any shape, I think it will work. Yeah, so I can just select this tool and go to any path, and once my cursor is on the path, I can just click and add an anchor point to that path. Now it will not work if you just click anywhere. It will show you this message, please use the add anchor point tool on a segment of path. And that message makes absolute sense, because you can add anchor points only on the path, not anywhere on the empty canvas. Okay, so just go drag on any of the path, or just go on any of the path and click to add anchor points. Again, while adding anchor points, I would suggest you to have your smart guides on, because if you turn off your smart guides, then you have to be very precise when clicking. You have to be exactly on the path. If you just make a slight mouse movement and you click around anywhere, then it will show you this message, and it becomes really irritating after a time that it keeps showing you this message. So when you have your smart guides on, you can be near to that path, and when you click, sorry, I was very far over here. So if you click somewhere over here, Illustrator will automatically snap your point to the path, and it will be a little more convenient for you to add anchor points. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now let's see our next tool, that is delete anchor point tool. The shortcut key for that is minus, and again, it is very clear that what this tool will also do. So let's add some anchor points over here, 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 and here, and delete anchor point tool. And now I can click on any of this anchor point to delete this anchor point. So here, 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 and here. So I have deleted all those anchor points which I have just added. And you can notice that how my shape has changed. Because you would have thought that, okay, add anchor points and then delete anchor points, so we are gonna achieve the same shape, but unfortunately not, because whenever you add anchor points, your tangents readjust by themselves. So you can see over here. Now my tangents are somewhere over here, and when I add a new anchor point, you can see how tangents changes. They get really small. Again, if I select my direct selection tool and I move this tangent to this much, so I will achieve a result like this. And now if I go ahead and delete this anchor point in the middle, so yeah, I have achieved a pretty close shape, not exactly, but yeah, you can adjust your handles over here and get a very close shape like that, like we had before. So yeah, every time you add anchor points to your shape, your tangents will readjust. So just be mindful about this when playing around with these tools, that your final shape might change if you again delete those anchor points which you have just added. Okay, so those two tools are really simple. I mean, there was nothing complex about them. Now let's see our last or the third tool, which is convert anchor point tool. And this is a bit tricky, I would say, because this tool works in two different ways. The first way is when you click on any anchor point that has tangents already, so it will remove those tangents. And let's say these all anchor points have tangents right now. If I click on them, it will remove all those tangents. Again, you have to be very precise or click on anchor point only, otherwise it will not consider your click. Okay. So I have removed all the tangents from all the anchor points by just clicking at them. The second operation for this tool is if you click and drag, you can recreate tangents on anchor points which doesn't have tangents. Okay, so like I have deleted tangents on these anchor points, so I can click and drag on this to create a shape like this again to have my tangents back. Also, if there is any anchor point which has tangents already, you can still click and drag to recreate the tangents, and it will recreate every time. So it will remove those previous anchor points and it will previous tangents, and then it will reconstruct those tangents for you. So yeah, it works in two ways. First, if you just click, it will remove the tangents from anchor points. And next, if you click and drag, it will recreate or create tangents for you on the specific anchor point where you clicked and dragged. Okay, so I hope that is clear to you. Again, now the third functionality of the same tool, which is convert anchor point tool, that is if you click on tangent and move, then you can break the tangent. Now I think we have learned something like this in previous videos, where we learned what if I want to break the tangent. So for that, you can press direct selection tool. You can select direct selection tool, and while moving any tangent, you can press Alt on your keyboard to break the tangent. Now we have seen the same thing we can do using convert anchor point tool. You can just click on the tangent and move. You need not to press any Alt key or any additional option key to do something like that. So again, yeah, there will be multiple ways to do single thing, and I think that's convenient, that's beneficial for all of us, that we can have our own choices, which one is convenient to me. I think that for me, direct selection tool works better than selecting an additional tool and doing some changes. For me, just moving the tangent and pressing Alt simultaneously is not a problem, so I prefer direct selection tool. You might prefer convert anchor point tool, so that's perfectly fine. Okay, so yeah, let's recall actually what all we have learned. So we have learned that first of all we have learned about add anchor point tool, then we have learned about delete anchor point tool, and in convert anchor point tool we have seen three functionalities. That is, first one, if I click on any anchor point, it will remove the tangents. Secondly, if I click and drag on any anchor point, it will recreate the tangents for me. And third, if I click and drag on tangent, then it will break the tangent. Okay. Now let's see further functionalities of pen tool, which we have left so far. Now why I have covered these three tools in between, because pen tool can be converted to these three tools also. So you can imagine the complexity or the complex or the level of complexity here, that pen tool can be converted to convert anchor point tool. So already pen tool has some some 5 to 6 functionalities, and further upon, if you convert it into what is that tool name? Yeah, convert anchor point tool. Then it adds some 2-3 more functionalities. So that's why I said you to write it down so that it don't confuse you. Okay, so moving back to pen tool. So far we have learned in pen tool that we can click and move and click to create shapes like this. And to close it, we can click on the starting point. Or if you want to continue any existing shape, you can just click on any of the anchor points and then again start drawing again or start creating points. This applies to all the shape. Let's say if I just take a line over here. Okay, now if I want to make something out of this line, I can just press my pen tool or select my pen tool, click on any of the anchor points, and you can continue your line as well. Okay, so that looks good. Now selecting any color again so that we have a default fill in all the shapes. Okay. Now one thing you might say that, okay, it is good that we can create any kind of shape using pen tool, but I don't like these chiseled edges, these sharp edges. I mean, look at these edges, these are too sharp, and who would like to have these kind of edges in their final design? So isn't there any way to smooth it out? So yes, there is a way, and that can be done directly using pen tool itself. So this time actually we'll just click, create our first point, and while creating our second point, we will click and drag. So you can see that how when I'm dragging, I'm creating these tangents for my anchor point. And again, I can just click and drag to create this anchor point, to create these tangents, and click and drag, click and drag, and click and drag at the final point also to have, to have something like this. Okay, so yeah, I have created a very smooth shape. Now it is not very proper. You can see the width over here is not as is similar to the width on the left side. So again, we can have a direct selection tool and we can make some changes over here, and that's how we can modify our shape. But this is the way you can create smooth shapes directly using pen tool. And this is where all problem starts with pen tool, because if you just create anything using these points, it becomes really easy for anyone to create anything. But when it comes to the tangent, managing these tangents is really a big problem. And sometimes they overshoot, sometimes you have to create sometimes you have to manage like 2-3 tangents at a single position. So let's see the overshoot problem first. For that, I am going to create a heart over here. So we'll start from the center point and then we'll go to the left side, create something like this. That looks very good. And here we'll create a curve like this, and okay. Actually, I should create a ruler first. So view or press Ctrl R, drag a ruler. And yeah, make sure that it is locked so that we don't move it accidentally, and press R again to hide the rulers. Okay, so that now we have a guide in the middle. So just that our center points are in the same vertical line. Okay, pressing P again to select pen tool, and let's draw our shape again. Yeah, one more thing, if you are not comfortable with this point, let's say over here, this doesn't look really good. So you can press Ctrl Z and you can replace it again and again till you are till you are satisfied with your position or of the with anchor point or the tangent position. Yeah, so you can undo it and recreate points again. It will continue your shape the way you were doing it. Okay, so here, yeah, this looks good. Now let's have some kind of fill over here. So press P, create this point, and okay. So yeah, this left part looks really good. Let's continue it on to the right side, and that looks really simple. I mean, I have created such a curve by just 3 anchor points and few tangents. So let's create some point over here, I think, and immediately you can see what has happened to my shape. It has overshooted to the bottom part. Okay, but I'm still gonna go ahead and continue this shape because. Okay, so here also you can see that if I wanted to manage this curve, so because this was overshooting, so I extended my tangent this much, and when I joined it to the center point, so here also it overshoot. So what could be, my heart, which was on the left side, you can see that I was getting a perfect heart, could have been abomination on the other half. So how can we correct this? How can we correct this overshoot problem? And you will find this problem a lot of times because you have created some previous tangent and that is affecting your next anchor point. So for that we can press Alt key while drawing. Now how will that work? Let's see. So again I am creating it from the scratch. So here and here I have created something like this. Now there are 2-3 things you can do to adjust it. First of all, after drawing your or after placing your anchor point and after placing your tangents, you can press Alt on your keyboard and you can see that my pen tool has been converted to a convert anchor point tool. Now we know the third functionality of convert anchor point tool, that if I click on a tangent and move, then it will break the tangent for me, and that's exactly what I wanted here. Just click and move, and there I go. Okay, so once I release my Alt key, I have my pen tool back, so I can continue my design after that. Okay, so there was an error message in between, so it just broke our shape from the middle. Okay, so anyways, we can click on this point again and we can continue our design. So here I can just click over here and place it somewhere like this and then click over here again. Now here you can see that again it's overshooting over here because I just managed this curve. So how can we adjust this one also? So like we have learned, I can press Alt key and just click and drag over here to adjust it like this. So that we make this tangent a little smaller, and now we can adjust this like that. Okay, so this looks much better compared to our first design. Although it's not very symmetrical, both left and right part looks different. So again, we can select our direct selection tool, make minor adjustments in the shape or in the tangents as well. Or if this sharp edge comes, you can again select your convert anchor point tool and recreate those tangents, something like this, and adjust it like this. So yeah, we can modify our shape anytime we want. It's just you have to first get a core shape, and once that core shape is ready, you can modify it in any way you want. You can actually create a circle out of this heart. So that again depends on you and the kind of work you're doing. Okay, now let's see the next technique, which is about solving this overshoot problem only, but this time we are going to do it in different way. So far we have learned if we want to manage any tangents in the continuing shape, while continuing our shape, we can press Alt key and just click on any of the tangent and move it to break the tangent. Now let's see the next technique. Okay, so again creating the first half over here. Okay, so I should just extend it a bit. We'll create something like this time. Okay, now this time I'll again press Alt, but I'm not releasing my mouse click. So keep holding your mouse click over here, do not release it, and you can press Alt this time. So when you press Alt here, you're free to move your tangent. So this is like a next level to what we have seen just now. You can, without even releasing your mouse click, you can just press Alt and you can adjust your tangent at the same time. It just avoids one additional click, that's it. So it again depends on the kind of convenience you are looking for. So yeah, here I think this tangent is excellent. The placement is excellent. So I can release my mouse click first and release my Alt key, and have my pen tool back. So after this I can again continue my shape, something like this. Now this is not proper, so I can undo it, place it again, and till I think it looks fine. Again over here I think we are overshooting the tangent, so press Alt key at the same time before releasing your mouse click, and till I adjust my anchor point, tangent to here, and here I can release my mouse click and Alt key, and here also I can just adjust it like this. Okay, so let's remove our guides, clear guide, and you can see this time we have achieved even more symmetrical shape. I think few minor adjustments, that's it, and here we are done, I think. Yes, yeah, that looks exactly the same, very close results. So yeah, there are different ways to achieve the same thing, and again it depends on you, solely on you actually, which techniques is more comfortable to you. So yeah, we have learned two techniques. Either you can create a tangent, and after that you can release your click, press Alt and again adjust the tangent, or while drawing itself you can just press Alt and readjust your tangent and release your mouse click and then Alt key. So I hope you noted this down, because when you draw this will be really helpful to you. So I'm gonna delete these two shapes for now, and we'll see how we can convert pen tool into these two tools also, that is add anchor point and delete anchor point. So far we have seen how we can convert a pen tool into convert anchor point tool. Now we'll see these two tools implementation also. So again I'm creating a circle over here, and while having your shape selected, I think select your shape first and then press P to select pen tool. And now if you go to any of your shapes path, then you can see that there is a plus sign beside my pen tool, and this sign is exactly the same as add anchor point tool. So having your pen tool selected, you can select a shape and then select a shape first, select a pen tool, and when you go to the path you can add anchor point anywhere you want. So let's do the same thing again. So yeah, added 4 anchor points in between. And now if you want to remove this anchor point, don't select any other tool, just have your pen tool selected. Just go over that anchor point which we have just created, and you can see this minus sign appears next to my pen tool. So yeah, I can just click on this minus sign, on this anchor point, and I can remove these anchor points from my pen tool itself. So how convenient it is. We haven't even selected any tool and we have created 4 anchor points on the shape, and we just deleted it without even switching to any tool. We haven't even used any option key, like to convert your pen tool into convert anchor point tool you have to press Alt key, but here we haven't even pressed Alt key. It's just an automatic switching from pen to add anchor point tool and from pen to subtract anchor point. And I think that is really helpful, because I haven't even touched these two tools in a while. All I do is I work with pen tool only all the time. So yeah, sometimes I use convert selection, convert anchor point tool, but these two tools I haven't used at all, because pen tool just does all these things. You just have to select the shape before that. Okay, so I think that's enough for today's videos, because we have covered quite a lot of stuff, and once again, go ahead and try all these things which we have learned. Just go ahead and practice them by yourself, so that you are more familiar with all these things. And again, I'll see you in my next video. So goodbye for now. If you know I want you.